We welcome our Golf Channel colleague, Amy Rogers, and Golf Week senior writer, Beth Nichols, to get up to speed on all things LPGA. Amy, if we may, let's start with you. Lilia Vu is a defending champion this week at the Honda LPGA Thailand. What do you make of Lilia's start to her year?
Well, it's been a disappointing start to the season for Lilia Vu, the current world #1, who through the first two events of the season on the LPGA Tour has only been able to break 70 just once. But she said earlier today during her press conference in Thailand that she was a little rusty after the off season, took a little bit of time off. And she said she really used those first two events to sort of evaluate where her game was at, where she had neglected her game, and what she needed to really work on going forward. So she said over these last 3 weeks since she last played at that LPGA Drive-On Championship, where she finished tied for 55th, that she's really been focused on her ball striking. She said that she's just trying to hit the ball more solidly, trying to compress the ball a little bit more. And she said that those first 2 weeks were really a wake-up call for her. And now she's feeling a lot better about her game and in a much better spot as she now prepares to defend the first of 4 titles beginning this week here in Thailand.
Yeah, Amy, I thought it was fantastic that Lilia went to Cabo during the off season with her girlfriends. She said it was the first time she'd ever taken a girls' trip. So I'm not surprised there was a little bit of rust. But I had the chance to talk to her a little bit at the TOC earlier this year about expectations and how she was going to manage expectations after such a fantastic year in 2023. And she said she was going to be nice to herself. She said, I don't want to discredit what happened last year, but I also don't want to make myself feel like I have to one-up myself every week. You did this last year. Now you need to do this year. She said, she used the word strangle. She said, I don't want to strangle myself under the weight of expectations. So I thought that was a fantastic mindset as she looks to follow 2023.
Beth, it wasn't that long ago that Jin Young Ko seemed to be the dominant figure in this game. We haven't seen her since she withdrew from the CME Group Tour Championship in November with an injury. Is she healthy? Is she ready to compete?
She is. I sent word down through a little birdie to ask Jin Young Ko how she feels, and she said she had a test on everything. She checked doctors checked her wrists, her knees, her spine, everything to make sure that she was in good shape, and she's very healthy. She spent a month in Vietnam getting ready for this season with her swing coach. And, she said when it comes to this year, she obviously wants to stay healthy. That's goal #1. But she also really wants to make sure that she's feeling good for the second half of the year. She said she seems to run out of energy, run out of steam after about the 5-month period on the LPGA. And that summer stretch is super crucial when you look at the major championships on the table as well as the Olympics. So that's going to be her goal this season, as she said, is to work really hard on the range, put all of her reps in, and then leave it there. Let it go, let it be, and just relax.
When I spoke with Jin Young Ko's team at the season-ending CME Group Tour Championship, they had pointed to just the week before where she had that knee injury. They could point to a specific shot during that first round that had occurred. And they told me, which I think was particularly interesting, was that she was experiencing pain in the knee, not only when she was swinging, but when she was walking as well. So I think this is something really important to keep an eye on as she returns to action this week at the Honda LPGA Thailand. It's something that we've seen with Tiger Woods and his injuries as well, where perhaps he's able to make a perfectly good swing, but walking becomes an issue. And so that's something that we'll need to keep an eye on as Jin Young Ko returns to competition in 72 holes over the next couple days.
Amy, let's stay with this theme, if we can, for a second about prominent players. Patty Tavatanakit was back in the winner's circle at the Aramco Saudi Ladies International. How big a deal is it for her to get back in the victory circle?
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, that star power that fans were clamoring for this past season on the LPGA Tour, looking for some of those big names to come out and get those big victories. Well, it's happening in full force early to start 2024. Tavatanakit joining Nelly Korda and Lydia Ko, both getting back into the winner's circle early in this year. And Tavatanakit, a commanding 7-stroke victory on the Ladies European Tour this past weekend. And it came as a huge surprise because we hadn't seen Tavatanakit win since her breakthrough victory at the Chevron Championship back in 2021. If you had told any of us we wouldn't see Tavatanikit win again for 3 years, we never would have believed you, because she came out as a rookie. She went wire to wire. She led that week in driving distance. And I remember Judy Rankin was on the call and she said, this girl is hitting the ball in places I've never seen before at Mission Hills. So it's such an impressive and commanding performance. And then she comes out, fights back, retools her swing, and is now calling herself Patty 2.0. She's changed up her diet, she's expanded her team, and now she is back in the winner's circle this past week. It's not only great news for Tavatanikit, who could be a real star, but it's great news for the women's game as well.
You know, I totally agree with you in that nobody would have predicted that we would have seen a drought this long for Patty. But I think it's important to realize that while players don't always share everything that's going on in their lives, you know, they do have a life outside of golf that often, you know, does spill over inside the ropes when things are going, you know, stressful with relationships and family. And who knows what it is? Patty hasn't let us know, but just the idea that it's not always about mechanics, it's not always about what's going on inside the ropes that might lead to a slump of sorts. But I really liked what she said about getting her team together, being the CEO of Patty Tavatanikit Golf, which every young player has to learn how to do, because it's not just about getting the ball in the hole. You're actually managing a team and trying to figure out that you're in charge of this team and you're driving the bus and where it goes. And so that's been a big part of her growth lately.